All right, folks, I thought I'd go ahead and get this video knocked out today. I had a lot of questions. I've had this project done for a little while. This is my Ruger PC Carbine that I've adapted to a PPSH-41 stock. We'll start with the front portion because everything is simple here. This is original Ruger PC Carbine. I added an M-lock wire sling swivel that let me put this surplus sling on here. As far as magazines go, I do have the Glock adapter in here, of course. That gives me the Glock stick mag. And then this guy, this is the Pro Mag DRM A12. It has a short tower on it like you would use with an AR-15 PCC, but that allows that drum to sit up a lot tighter and closer to the receiver. Haven't had a chance to shoot this guy, so I can't speak to its reliability, but the look is right, so happy with that. Moving back here, we have the PPSH-41 stock. I bought this from Allegheny Arsenal. They still have these in stock as of yesterday. It comes with the sling plate. It comes with the, at least mine did, the reinforcement screw. So this provides extra support to the receiver back here. It does not come with a butt plate. This butt plate I picked up off of eBay. So you will provide your own screws, but fit up is perfect. Gives you your little cleaning access port right there, so that's great. We'll go ahead and come up here to the top. This plate I manufactured from a piece of aluminum. Manufactured is a loose term. I hand filed it to get it to the shape that I wanted to fill the original cutout. This is where the tang of the original receiver sat down in, so I wanted to just fill that in, kind of clean up this. There's one underneath. There's your cutout. Here's the plate, which I've already removed just to speed up disassembly. So I'm going to zoom in. We'll get into more of the details here. Go ahead and shorten this guy up a little bit. We'll start up here at the top. So this wood portion here is all original. I did not have to remove any material inside of that. The Ruger receiver wants to sit right in that space near perfectly. I did remove some wood over here that allows that charging handle to move back and forth freely. But from the top, things are pretty much as they came. We'll flip this around to the bottom. Same story here. This width inside of here is as it came. That allows everything to drop right through. I did have to make a little file cut here and over here. That allows that cross bolt safety to freely travel back and forth between there. I'll get into why I did that. Come back up to this side and we'll pull this receiver out so you can see what we're looking at inside. And it's not pretty, but it doesn't have to be. The wood stock had a shelf that came right up to where this black polymer starts. So that's where the original receiver sat down inside of there. I removed that wood, cutting it all the way down. You can see this is actually wood right down in here. And that brings us down to this little of a 1/8 of an inch of remaining material. That lines things up perfectly right across here. Had I removed more material, I wouldn't have had make these little file cuts, and I would have had less than 1/8 of an inch. So I wanted to retain this shape of the stock down here. And I wanted to provide support for that receiver all the way to the back. The polymer was cut away from the back here. Basically just cut the stock off and then started working that polymer down to match this internal curvature here. This plastic shelf right here mates up to the bottom of the Ruger receiver, so that's where this guy sits right here. I simply cut that away right up to that point. I retained these little tabs up here at the front. That was so that I had more surface area to glue things up. That was the hardest part, really, because I needed to work down this polymer to thin it out. It was originally this thickness right here, and I needed to get it nice and thin to fit inside of the wood. I had to tape off the mag well and do this all by hand with files. I tried Dremels, sanding discs, cutting discs. Everything would heat up the polymer, gum up, and you just did not make any progress. I didn't feel like I had good control. I removed about a 1/4 inch of the wood stock, came out to about here, cut that back, just because I did not want to get up into thinning out this area that sits around your magazine well, where your explosions are going off. So I wanted to retain all of the factory original stuff up here. At the back, I had to cut away some wood back here to get the receiver to mate up and sit just in there. That was done with sanding discs. The wood was pretty well oil soaked inside, so it was kind of gummy, a little bit difficult to work with. But again, taking your time, working with hand tools, nothing got away from me. So the sanding discs were used very carefully. I did most of this with hand files, using chisels to whittle down that wood shelf that was in here. And then it was time for glue up. I roughed up the wood inside, roughed up the exterior surface of the polymer, and I used marine grade JB Weld. That was a selection I made based on previous work with JB Weld holding really well. I'm not a gunsmith, so I get to use JB Weld in my gun projects. But marine grade is chemical resistant, so I was thinking with gun oils and things soaking down in here, I didn't want it given away. And being a couple of months now, there's no signs of any problems. I've shot the gun several times. It shoots great. It's heavy. The wood definitely weighs more than your original polymer stock that's hollow inside. But again, this is cosmetics, form over function. Drop this receiver back in here. We'll take a little look at the trigger. So trigger reach is a little bit different. The trigger is definitely sitting farther forward from the wrist than you would have on the original carbine. My hand's medium to large size, no problem reaching at all to get up to that trigger. You can come way up higher if you want to. If you had small hands, you could just bring your thumb around the side and get up this way, so not a problem. I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, definitely hit me up. I'm on Instagram. I'm at cigars.guns.stuff. Or you'll see me on some of the different Facebook groups.